Hey, it's Coach Mark here. It's Wednesday, and you know what that means, Reaction Video Wednesday. Hey, I have to tell you something. I don't pick my subjects to share with you because of likes and views and clicks. None of that really matters to me. What matters is that I feel like I'm delivering the right information for you and your son. If you're a parent or grandparent watching this information that I'm sharing is designed to help you guys move through the process and get to the next level. Now, contrary to popular belief, not everything that we talk about is baseball focused. In fact, I like to focus on things that are more success focused. My background is success development. I apply that to baseball, and which is why I'm sharing information with you like that. So I really want you to learn to embrace it. If you don't see it's some major leaguer that I'm reacting to, or Major League Baseball or college baseball, don't immediately assume it's not for you. It 100% is for you, because I'm strategically picking these topics for you. And today is no exception. We are going to watch an interview with Cael Sanderson. Before you click off and leave me, who's Cael Sanderson? He's just the most successful college wrestler probably ever, and he's built a dynasty at Penn State wrestling. They've won 13 national championships. They are dominating at a level that has never been seen before. It's never been done before. And the reason I'm sharing information with you about him and the way his mind thinks is because we can learn how people like him think, and we can emulate that, and we can teach our young kids to do the same thing. So hang in there with me. I promise you, this is incredibly valuable information. We're going to watch Cael right now. I'm going to stop it on a couple of the points that I want to really highlight for you. So let's get at it right now. Here's Cael Sanderson.
You mentioned kind of the recruiting timeline. That was a pretty recent rule change. Do you like that you're not recruiting kids anymore right after their sophomore year, but that got pushed down a little bit?
Yeah, I like that rule a lot. I think recruiting a kid after their sophomore year is tough. I think it's tough for them. I think it gets their focus on being recruited as opposed to just continuing to develop. So I really feel like the junior year historically seems like just a big year for making gains and deciding what you want, who you want to be as a wrestler, as a person. So if you're making a decision before that, it's hard for the coaches. It's obviously hard for the kids. And I think when your focus is on being recruited instead of just trying to be the best wrestler you can be, it can limit you potentially. And it's easier for us as well because you're projecting another year out where you don't know who's going to be what size. Mm-hmm. You can guess, but it's just who knows.
Okay, let me stop there. He's talking about recruiting, obviously, the timeline of recruiting. You may not know this, but not that long ago, college coaches were recruiting 8th graders, 9th graders. The NCAA was allowing it. It was madness. It was nuts. We had 8th graders talking to college coaches on the phone. The NCAA finally figured it out here and pushed it back now to what he's talking about, going into your junior year. So August 1st of your junior year, those guys are now talking to these high school athletes. And what he just said there, if you didn't catch it, is he'd much rather see a kid developing and focus on being the best he can be versus too early thinking about recruiting. So that's a great tip for you parents. The recruiting will come if you are developed properly. The problem is most kids are not developing properly. And then when they get to the age of recruiting, guess what? It doesn't happen. They're not ready. So this is a really important point, the timing of this. We don't need to go crazy early on the recruiting side. We just need to develop properly.
Looking at their parents, or you're trying to figure out what's this going to work out, how's this going to work out. But yeah, so I think it's a really good rule. I think it's better for the kids. And if you've seen and too, I mean, kid commits early, they're still getting recruited,
right?
For the rest of their career. And we have kids on our call.
What's he mean by that? If a kid commits early, they're still getting recruited. This is the new world we live in as well. Unfortunately, I was cringing, hoping it would never get to baseball, but it's in baseball now. It used to be, the football players would commit, and then all the guys were still trying to get them to decommit and then commit. And that was happening in basketball, but it wasn't happening that much in baseball or wrestling. Now it is. So even when you commit, if you commit to a mid-major and you tear it up as a high school athlete, there's a good chance some Power Four schools are going to come after you. So that's what he means by that.
College team still getting recruited nonstop, so that never ends. So obviously, it just comes down to creating an atmosphere and a program that people want to be at, and where there's just trust and a lot of good things going on.
I've heard you talk about like just the importance of loving the sport as almost like a recruiting priority in a lot of ways. When was that a realization? Was that something you just kind of innately had that wisdom? Because it's probably at a time it's like you're just recruiting the rankings basically, but obviously that's not been what you guys have done. When did you kind of realize this is a difference-making attribute that's not necessarily measurable?
Let me jump in here, make sure you understood this question. When did you start recruiting athletes that love the sport versus, did you hear what he said, just recruiting the rankings? I mean, you would think if Penn State is at the top of the food chain, they would just go and say, who's number one? And they would go after number one, but that's not the way it works. That's why I always tell you guys, forget rankings. Listen to what he says he is looking for in recruit. And remember who we're talking to, the top of the food chain, the best of the best, 13 national championships. Listen carefully to what he's about to tell you about who he likes to recruit.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's, you just get lucky a couple times maybe. And for us historically, the kids that are really wanting to come to Penn State end up being our best guys. The kids that we've had to work the hardest to recruit. We've had a lot of guys that ended up being really good, but the kids that want to come to Penn State have always been exceptional, and wanting to come to Penn State because they feel like that's the best place they can be to get as good as they can possibly be. So
let me make sure you understand. He's loving the fact that he's built a program where people want to come play for him. In other words, I've heard him say it before, he's not talking kids into Penn State. So if you're a young athlete and you know where you want to play or you have ideas, it's okay to go to their camps. Like, I'm sure some of the kids that he's recruited, he knew them when they were 10 years old. They come to their camps, 12 years old. Hey, Coach Cael, I just want to tell you, I really want to play for you someday. I'm a Nittany Lion already. I want to play for you. If you have a young son and you send him to a Texas camp, LSU camp, a Vanderbilt camp, I would tell that kid, tell that head coach, tell Coach Corbin at Vandy, hey, Coach Corbin, I know I'm only 12, but I'm going to play for you someday. I love Vandy. There's nothing wrong with that. It's great for these young kids to have these dreams, but these coaches love it as well.
You just have to pay attention to those things. And a lot of it's just you do your homework, obviously hype and looking at the rankings, is easy to do, and it's probably what and that's probably what the fans are looking at. That's what the alumni are looking at. They're looking at because recruit.
And the parents are looking at it. He was nice and didn't say that, but the parents are looking at the rankings and they're caught up in the hype. They're looking at social media. What's he say?
Recruiting is a game in itself. Competition's a different game. Competing at the nationals, where the recruiting game is a game you can win, but we don't necessarily want to win the recruiting game. We want to recruit and get the kids that fit our program the best, that want to be there.
What did he just say? We don't want to win the recruiting game. What that means is he's not concerned that Penn State has the number one ranked recruiting class, because the way they do that is they look at how many ranked wrestlers they have and they add it up, and whoever has the most, they're the top program in the country. Is the rankings are, the recruiting rankings. He doesn't care about that. He might get the 6th ranked kid over the 1st ranked kid because he thinks it's a better fit for his program.
For the right reasons. And like you said, love the sport. So they want to be there, practice every day. And we enjoy doing what we do and go on this journey together to kick some butt.
Yeah. 5 for 5. You talked about rule changes. That's probably one of the biggest ones there's been. Do you think it's a mistake, or do you have a position on the seniors like a Levi, Jesse Mendez, etc.
Just so everybody knows, the new 5 for 5 rule, you have 5 years to complete your education. You can wrestle for 5 years and you have 5 years. That's what he's talking about. Same within baseball. You can go to school for 5 years and you can play for 5 years. That's how it works now.
We're blessed, obviously, at Penn State. You don't go to Penn State because you want a guaranteed starting spot. Like, you're not coming to Penn State. You're coming to Penn State because this is where you're going to be the best wrestler you could possibly be.
All right, I got to stop it there. You don't come to Penn State because you want a guaranteed spot. You come to Penn State because you want to be the best you can be. They are getting top talent, and nobody is like, oh, I don't know if I can wrestle here. They're going there to find out if they can wrestle there. What's the point? You want to challenge yourself like that coming through the travel ball experience, the high school experience, whatever. Go where the best competition is. Don't be one of these people that is afraid to get on I'll give you the perfect example. I'm running Ambassadors Baseball. We have a fall program. Kids come in. First question is, if I make the fall team, do I make the summer team? The answer is no. The fall is an extended tryout for our team. Okay. I have people, well, if I'm not guaranteed next summer, then we're not going to play. Those are the people afraid to come in and win a spot, to earn a spot. You can see them coming from a mile away when they're nervous about not getting a guaranteed spot for next year. I understand it, but it's not the mindset of a champion at all. Come in, take your spot, and now nobody's getting it because I'm the best. That's the posture he's talking about.
Thinking about a couple wrestlers on your team, a guy that fans just have loved to watch and follow his story is Masa Ono.
Yeah.
And he's been on your team for a year now. And fans just want to, will we see him wrestle in a Penn State singlet at some point?
Definitely at some point. I don't know when it's going to be. I don't want to lead anyone on, it could be this year, it could be next year, but he's definitely going to wrestle at Penn State. Hopefully for a couple of years.
Yeah.
That's the plan. And he's just such a great kid. That energy, positivity, just love of the sport, obviously, just love.
Again, I don't want you to miss this. Listen how he's describing one of his top wrestlers, the love of the sport, his energy, his positivity. These are cultural values that guys like Cael Sanderson look for. Not everybody's like that. You could be a phenomenal wrestler, but you're not bringing the positivity. You're more selfish. You're not bringing the energy. You're kind of subdued, but when you get on the mat, you're really good. That's not good enough for a guy like Cael Sanderson. He's looking for the elite of the elite, and those are important characteristics. So make sure your son knows that.
Life, just bigger than life, personality, just a lovable guy, just such a good kid, and an incredible wrestler. Like, he's very competitive, and so we're blessed to have him in the program, and of course, we want him to wrestle as many darn years as he can.
Yeah. So it's possible he could have a couple of years. It's not just one.
Potentially, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
You've had Japanese wrestlers in the past. You had Yoni Mitsu for a couple of years. Is there a different element that they bring to the room, or the American style is unique as is theirs? What can that bring to a room?
Well, Yona was a remarkable, unbelievably tough wrestler. Just a super humble guy. Also, we learned a lot from him.
I don't want you to miss that word, humble. These guys love humility. Listen how he talks. He's one of the top guys in the world, and you would never know it. Humility. Arrogance has no place in this for these kind of guys.
It was great to have him in the room. Just a tough competitor too. But I think just the Japanese culture is it's inspiring because it's based on a lot of respect.
So we got humility and we got respect. Let's pay attention to the semantics.
The kid, and just everyone that we've had that's been in the room from Japan has been incredible. So we've had a few guys come over and train in the Inline Wrestling Club as well. But yeah, I would just we're they're great, and obviously they're having a heck of a run the last little wave, and their technique, finishing shots, some of the things they're doing, their snaps, of course, starting with Masa, has become like the move everyone in the world's trying to hit. So but yeah, just great people. That's more important than anything else. It's just like loves to be there and elevates the room significantly.
Yeah.
He means it. Great people. That's more important than anything else. Now, yes, you have to be talented. Let's not pretend you don't. But talent alone is not enough. So these young kids that are super talented, if we're not building in humility and gratitude and all the things that he's talking about, the love of the sport, the work ethic, if that's not there, all that talent will be wasted. They will not get to the level they want to get to.
I think a lot of people watch Mitchell Messenbrink wrestle. I think the kids, I have a 15-year-old son, and a lot of people want to wrestle like Mitchell, and his success is incredible. What do you see in the room that maybe allows him to be able to even stand out amongst your wrestlers and the wrestlers in the country? What is it about Mitchell that really separates him?
This is really important because Mitchell Messenbrink is a super entertaining, high-profile wrestler, won 2 national championships, has a style all of his own, and he's asking the question, what makes him so special? Let's listen to the answer.
Well, he's just a tough kid, but he's just consistent. I mean, he wrestles hard in matches.
Tough and consistent.
But he's also extremely competitive and wrestles that pace in.
We keep hearing that word, extremely competitive. You got to really, really want to win. You got to hate to lose.
In practice also. So it's not realistic to, train one way and the way you wrestle in practice and then think you're going to change everything on match day. I mean, we've had a couple.
That is so important. Did you catch that golden nugget? It's unrealistic to think you're going to train one way and then go wrestle another. How many times have you heard me say, we got to practice like we play? We got to go out and get a stopwatch when we're hitting fungos and every ball is timed at game speed. You've heard me say that, and here's a guy that just said it even better than me. We're not going to flip a switch, train one way, and go out and do something different. We're going to do the same thing in the wrestling room that we do in front of 20,000 people.
Well, kids, that may be an exception to that rule, but for the most part, I think it's just, if you want to wrestle like Mitchell, you just start wrestling like Mitchell. I mean, that's it, and obviously that's hard to do, and his lung capacity is, from a different planet. I mean, speed, feel, he's incredibly strong. But yeah, I don't know, it's trying to tell somebody how you wrestle like Mitchell. I don't know. I just start yesterday, I guess. Just go.
You're already pretty far behind in likelihood. Your son coming off a great season, high school wrestling. What's that been like? You're the top echelon, the best coach. Your son, how involved are you, if at all? I know there's varying degrees that have had success of involvement from high-level coaches and their kids. Just curious to your perspective there.
Yeah, he's just a good kid. I'm super proud of him. I mean, he just it's fun for me to spend time with him. It's something, every once in a while we go in there and I'll wrestle with him, and I need to do more, because now he's wanting to compete on a national level. But he's just such a good kid. I mean, he's just honest and fun to hang out with. And so to me, more than anything, just being able to spend more time with him, as he's really wanted to get good in wrestling the last couple of years. He's really wanted to kind of lock in, and he loves the sport. He loves wrestling. And so
again, I want to point out how he's describing his son. He's fun. He's honest. He loves wrestling. He wants to get better. These are the characteristics. He's the son of a legend, right? But he's wanting this for himself, and you'll hear him talk more about this. But sometimes kids don't want things like that, and we have to pay attention to that as well.
Yeah, I think for me, it kind of warms my heart even saying that. Just the idea of just the time I get to spend with him, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Dads, are you loving spending time with your son? Is your son loving spending time with you? That's a challenging question because some of you guys are way too hard on your kids and it's not fun and they're not loving it and it's not going to be great memories. I'm sorry to be so brutal, but some of you guys are kind of blowing it because you think your son is, 9 years old and should have a special forces mentality or something. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I think about, the sons of legends and is there a weight? Is that a conversation like?
I don't know if you picked that body language up he hates being called a legend. He is uncomfortable with that. He never wants to be called a legend because he is genuinely a humble person.
How to, mitigate maybe the pressure that inherently comes, maybe not internally, but just externally. There's going to be extra eyes when you're Cael Sanderson's son.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's a tough situation. He just has to deal with it. I mean, even like this interview,
right?
Like even I try to keep him out of the spotlight, but yeah, he's dealt with that. I mean, he went to the PJWs and didn't really train. Went to the Nationals, and the next week went to PJWs a couple times, and he went 0-2. But I could see that he's doing good things. He's just like getting rolled through on his shots, or he's not finishing his shots or something. So you could kind of see the potential. And obviously I wrestle him, but it's up to him. It's whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
If he wants to be a great wrestler, I think he has what it takes. But it's been
there. It is. It's up to him. If he wants to be a great wrestler, he probably has what it takes. But do you hear that? He is not pushing his son at all.
Like he's had to learn to deal with that, because when he was, he hears about it when he's not winning. I mean, he was, and he got to experience that firsthand, both sides. Like, if you're not winning, they're making fun of you because you're not winning. And if you are winning, then they're like, well, you think you're cool, whatever. So he noticed that when he was in junior high, and I thought that was a great experience for him to kind of.
He thought it was great experience for his son to have to deal with being the son of Cael Sanderson. And if you're winning, everybody, oh yeah, of course you're winning. You're Cael Sanderson's son. If you're losing, oh my gosh, your dad must not be proud of you. That's the kind of crap that these kind of kids have to deal with. And Cael Sanderson, I think it's a good thing for him.
Say, yeah, you do it because you want to do it. What do you want to do? You want to be great at wrestling? All right, we'll put the work in and go.
You want to be great? We'll put the work in. There's no fluff to this. Just put the work in.
Compete and we'll have some fun. But I do need to help him more and put more time into him. I mean, he's got a great coach in Jason Nickel.
There's some humility. He's saying publicly, hey, I need to spend even more time with my son. It's okay if you're not. It's not okay if you're in denial and you just don't make any changes. I love that.
Yeah, like with my son, he hasn't wrestled a lot of matches. He's a little bit behind in that regard. But what with my dad, was really good at was he was just really competitive. Obviously, I had my brothers to train with, and we had a lot of really good wrestlers and at Wasatch High. And if there were more programs in the area, they would have been D1 wrestlers.
Yeah.
It just doesn't even, I think, when there aren't programs around, doesn't necessarily even cross their mind that that's an opportunity. But yeah, we just never felt it wasn't about my dad ever. Like, he even if if you're a parent, you have an ego and you're working hard, obviously. But we never felt like that. It was always,
it wasn't for him.
It wasn't for him.
Yeah, for y'all.
I think that's such an important part. We hear this, and it's so true. We're not picking on dads today, but this is sort of focused on dads. There's so many dads living vicariously through their son. They want this so bad for their son because of them. And he's telling you, it was never about my dad. And I would say the same thing. My dad just supported me. That's the extent of my dad. And it was all I needed. It was never about him.
That makes a big difference. And you got to learn to love the sport yourself, and you got to be self-motivated if you want to continue on. I mean, that's kind of what I say. I mean, just the way I was raised. I just turned 47. I still love wrestling. Like, I love going in there and wrestling every day. Still love learning and growing in the sport. And that's because of the way my dad raised me in the sport. And then
there it is. There it is. We hear about how many kids drop off at 13. Why? Because their parents are all over them and they're making this miserable and they want to quit. They don't love it. He's 47 and he loves it, and he's giving credit to his dad for instilling the love of the sport in his heart. That's pretty special.
Also, Coach Douglas, same thing, just great coaches. And Tom Ortiz, Chris Bonham, there are a lot of coaches that had a big impact on me. But yeah.
I got to mention that too. It's not just parents. It's the coaches that you're subjecting your son to. Are they creating the love of the game in your son? Are they bringing it out? Or are they making us miserable? Are they contributing to the negativity, and your son's going to quit because he never was around great coaches? That's so important too. You cannot take these decisions of where your son is playing lightly. You are going to end his career if you make decisions with the wrong guys. I promise you. Not trying to be dramatic. It's just that's what happens.
But I just think experience in matches is really important. Just get those matches in, but it's got to be. It can't be about, hey, let's go be the world champion when we're, because that stuff doesn't matter, and it's not going to last, right? So it's kind of.
Did you catch that? Let's go be the world champion. No, it can't be that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't last. He believes that. He was a world champion, and he says it doesn't last. That's not what it's about. It's not that thing you're going to get. It's who you're going to become.
I guess when you've won as much as you guys have, what is the motivating factor for you guys? Is that because you made a comment like, that all goes away, like you win an Olympic title, a world title, it goes away. Is it the sort of like the service mission of helping the kids? What is it that keeps you guys so fired up, not just for winning, but what it is you're doing there?
This might be the most important question of the entire interview. Let's listen to what he says. What's the motivating factor?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because obviously we're competitive. I hate losing. I would do anything within the rules to win. There's nobody's going to outwork our staff. That's probably when it comes down to it. Our staff just works hard. Casey Cunningham and Cody, obviously, and Lynch, and now we just have so many good guys. And Nick Lee's on our staff, and we hired a GM 2 years ago. Clay Stedman's been a lifesaver for me because kind of being able to adapt as the rules and everything change, and he does an awesome job. But I think what it comes down to is just working with people you like working with, and that includes the wrestlers, right? You want to have kids in your program that you enjoy being on a team with, and you enjoy spending, because we spent a lot of time with them.
I got to stop it there. A lot of people all they think about are rankings and talent and velocity and stuff. He just said you want to find kids that you want to be around. We're developing people. I had a college coach one time tell me he's not recruiting one of my players because he never saw him smile. That was early in the game, and I realized this is a personal relationship. So we got to develop kids that people want to be around. Really important.
But yeah, I think that being around good people and enjoying what you do every day and just being engaged in a good cause. I feel like we're engaged in a good cause, and that's the motivating piece. Of course, yeah, we want to win, and of course, we're trying to learn, and every year is different, and you're adapting, and every kid's different, all that fun stuff. And we do anything to help our guys reach their goals. But it's about being around people you want to be around every day.
I want to end on the note that he's talking about being around great people. My ambassador group consultation, I always say to my wife, I get to be around great people. I get to choose the people I work with. Same thing with Ambassadors Baseball, our new travel program. I spent enormous amount of time recruiting coaches that I wanted to be around, men of character, men of faith, men who love kids, men who love baseball. So I agree. If you're looking to be a part of something that you love to be around, I would encourage you to look into the Ambassadors Group if you're looking for some one-on-one consultation. And if you're looking for a travel program, now you do have to be age eligible. We're forming 13U teams right now. Eventually, we'll have teams in all the age groups, 13 and beyond. But right now, if you're a 12-year-old or 13-year-old and you want to be around great people that have a real strong cause, a good reason to do what they're doing, check us out at ambassadorsbaseballus.com. So that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed that. I feel like there were tons of great points in that we all can learn from. So God bless you. We'll see you next time.